Hey, this is Derek Depker here of Bestseller Secrets. Do you hate marketing? Are you someone who it's just this necessary evil and you kind of wish, it's like, I just want to write a book and have someone else handle all the marketing for me. I just want to focus on the creative work. Well, if so, then you're going to benefit from this video. And even if you love marketing, you're going to learn how you can transform something that you hate, maybe like marketing, into something that you potentially love, or at the very least you can embrace and find some pleasure and joy whenever you do it. And you're also going to learn one of the dangers of outsourcing marketing and one of the best benefits that you might not expect from learning how to do effective marketing. So I think back to my experience in college as a music student, and in order to relate to this, because I was a musician, I was a composer, I'm like, I want to entertain people. I want to perform, I want to play, I want to write songs. I could not stand the idea of like music business and promoting a band and doing all that. It's like, I want to have nothing to do with that. So for those of you who are of a similar mindset, I can relate, and I'm going to share with you how I transformed my mindset, some of the things that helped with that, and some of the things that I've seen help work, or some things that have worked for other authors. First of all, this question, can I outsource the marketing? Well, there's definitely a benefit to outsourcing some things. I mean, I recommend outsourcing a cover designer, right? Unless you're a cover designer yourself, generally better to get someone else to do it. And outsourcing the editing, you get a different perspective on it. I hired an advertiser, for Facebook ads and things. So it's like, well, why not? Why not just outsource everything? And what came to me, what inspired this video today, was I was thinking of a quote of Jim Rowan's, and he said, "You can't hire someone else to do your push-ups." And I love that quote because it gets me thinking, especially as a fitness guy, like, okay, there's the things that you can hire someone for. They can come up with a workout program for you, but it's up to you to actually do the reps, to lift the weights. And I thought, well, you can hire someone else to do marketing, but you can't hire someone else to have a marketer's mindset or an entrepreneur's mindset. And why is this so important? Well, in a moment, I'm going to share with you the benefit of the marketer, the entrepreneur's mindset. I'll just quickly say that it can help you not just in marketing and book marketing in your business. Even if you never sold another book for the rest of your life, when you learn this mindset, it's going to make you a better in relationships, a better lover, a better parent. It's going to help you be a better teacher. It can help you be a better storyteller. It can help you be a better writer, right? So you might not even do the book marketing, but by learning these skills, and one skill in particular, it's going to help with everything else in your life. And I hope you'll see that by the end of this video. So what's that one skill? Well, where I first got into this was I did not get into marketing to study marketing. It had no appeal to me. I did not get into sales to study sales. My background and passion, I loved psychology. And I loved this idea of human behavior, especially born out of frustration, though. I remember, a couple quick stories. My parents had gotten divorced. I remember I'm walking into the living room. I see my mom on the couch crying. And I've seen this multiple times during this point in my life growing up. I see her crying. I go up, I give her a hug, and I just want her to feel better. And in that moment, I think about what's led me to do a lot of things in life. There are two things that stood out. I remember feeling powerless and helpless and thinking, what can I say? What can I say to her to make her feel better? Now, obviously, as an adult, I have perspective. There's nothing I could say. The best thing I could have done probably was just be there for her, right? But as a child and growing up, that idea of like, what do I say? How do I help someone? What are the words that I use that like plagued me, right? And out of these wounds can sometimes come your gifts. And so that led me, later on in my journey, I'd have friends and people coming to me for advice about health and fitness, and I would share with them what to do, and some of them would do it and they'd get great results. I had a guy I know like lost like 60 pounds, got a six pack, but other people it's like in one ear and out the other. And that just frustrated me. Like, what do I say? Like, how can I help these people? I remember, again, I know they got to choose it for themselves. It's their choice. It's not my responsibility to like make them want to change, but I was still nagging that feeling in me. And what I learned, and this is what got me into learning this one skill that I think is like a master key for so many things in life, unlocks so many things for you. And that one skill was the skill of influence. I remember being passionate about, okay, what is human psychology? Why do people say they want to do something but then not follow through, including myself at times? So it was learning influence and learning how to coach people and help people and teach people, inspire people. That is the motivation that taught me also marketing and book marketing and so on. But I didn't learn book marketing. I learned influence and relationships and how to connect with people. And as a byproduct of that, I learned how to market books. So this is what we're getting to in terms of a practical process here in a moment, is that you don't need to learn book marketing to learn book marketing. There's probably something else that you're passionate about. And so influence is a byproduct. It's something I'm very passionate about. For you, it could be storytelling or creative expression. Or maybe like myself, it's teaching or entertaining people. Now here's the cool thing. Think about marketing this way. What if, let's take a classic sales, so let's talk sales for a moment. Classic sales saying is, facts tell, stories sell. So if you're a storyteller, you have the major skill of marketing and sales and influence. In fact, if you're a good storyteller, you have the most like age-old, ingrained in the human brain type of superpower to move people, to inspire people, to change people's hearts and minds, which is marketing and sales. So it's funny to me when I hear people who could be like, well, I just want to tell stories. I don't want to do sales. I'm like, are you kidding me? Telling stories is sales. Storytelling is sales, and sales is storytelling. And for myself, the frame is teaching is sales, and sales is teaching. Sales is teaching the value of something. Does this make sense? You see, you connect it to what you already know. You connect it to what you're already passionate about. So are you a storyteller? Are you a teacher? Are you an entertainer? Are you a creative artist? Are you all of these things? Because that all ties in to sales. So here's what you do as part one of a four-part process for shifting your attitude and your emotion towards marketing. Or you love marketing, you apply this to other things. In the case of book marketing, you go, why do you love to write? Again, is it to teach? Is it to entertain? Is it to move people? Now, as a musician, again, to relate it, another personal story to help illustrate a point for you. As a musician, I love to move people, their emotions, take them on that journey, right? And I go, oh, wait a second, I get to do the same thing with writing. I get to do the same thing with coaching. I get to do the same thing with sales. It all becomes like the same thing, right? You kind of step back and you go, these aren't just totally different worlds, they're all interconnected. And as a storyteller, you want to move people's emotions. And what is sales? You get their attention, you move them emotionally and mentally to a new outcome. You take them on a journey, just like you're doing when you're writing. So this first question, why do you love to write? And then the second thing is you find the cross-contextual motivation and application. So first thing, cross-contextual motivation. I alluded to this earlier. When I learned coaching skills, which is basically I learned influence skills, which taught me how to be a better coach, that helped me make more sales. But I wasn't going in with the attitude of how do I learn selling. I learned how do I help people, how do I teach people, how do I inspire people. Oh, wait, this is a very similar process. A mentor, Brandon Broadwater, taught me 7 keys of influence. And that's the same process for coaching, for making a sales call, for having a conversation with a friend to inspire them to make a positive change in their life. It's the same process. That's the thing. Again, it's just influence. And copywriting, and then coaching people. It benefits romantic relationships. Nice perk there. And working with a coaching client, for her, she wanted to instill positive habits with her kids, with her daughters, on how they can start drinking water. Now, she could force it, and she as a parent can just make them drink more water. But she goes, I really want them to buy into it. I want them to actually want to drink more water. Well, great. I know how to do that, because it's just human behavior change. What do they value? Here's the practical thing. What do they value? What's important to them? And it's different for each daughter. It's different for each person. You find what they value, you connect how drinking water is going to help them. Maybe it's perform better in sports, or do better in school, or not have tummy aches, avoid pain, or whatever it is. And then when they buy into that, now all of a sudden they want to do the thing that you're encouraging them to do, drinking the water. I go, that's how you do it with your kids. Now, how does this apply to book marketing? Let's just switch the context. How do you sell a book? Find out what your readers value. Make sure you present what is important to them, not what you think is important, not what's important to you. What's important to them is the reader. Very fundamental, basic skill. But you get that and you go, I want to go on a vacation with my spouse. How do I motivate them to do it? Well, first, what's important to them? And connect it to that, right? Speak in terms of that. So you see, it all connects. And then what happens here, when you find this cross-contextual motivation, what happens, again, you go, even if I never sell a book for the rest of my life, learning marketing, learning influence is going to help me be a better parent. It's going to help me be a better lover, help me be a better friend, help me be a better coach, help me get a raise in my job, help me get more respect, help me feel more self-confident. You can find something that is important, tremendously important to you, and it will help with that when you take this cross-contextual approach. The cross-contextual application is when you go, what do you already know about this one area that you can apply to the other? If you know how to raise kids, you probably know something about how to motivate people, right? Now, you can't tell someone, hey, go leave a review for my book or else I'm going to ground you. Clearly, there's some distinctions, and we'll get to that in a moment, but there's some basic principles. There's some basic concepts that you've learned, whether it's being a parent, whether it's working in a job that you've worked in. For me, working in customer service taught me lessons. Being a musician taught me how to compose music. That's my degree. And I go, how do I write a book? Okay, if I write a theme, a melodic theme for a song, my approach, I tend to write something and come up with different variations and tweaks and move it around, and eventually I kind of whittle it down until I come up with one main theme that I settle on. Sometimes it just comes to me, but sometimes I tweak it. How do I come up with a book title? I come up with kind of a working title, then I might move some words around. I might come up, use some synonyms here and there. Gee, what do you know? Same basic process till I whittle it down with a book title. Now I add in a step. I might survey it, people. But, the key thing is there's so much that you already know. If it's about storytelling or teaching or entertaining people, that can apply to marketing. And there's so many things you know about these other areas about marketing that you can then apply to these other areas, right? So again, find the cross-contextual motivation. If you never sell another book in your life, if you never do anything in business, how is learning marketing and this entrepreneur mindset and really influence going to help you in all of these other things? So then it's not even like a waste, right? You're going to benefit no matter what. Then you apply areas that you're already competent in. You apply your competency to this new area. And this is so key because I was just listening to James Clear, which I actually haven't read the book yet, but I'm a big fan of James Clear's his work. So this is Atomic Habits, and he was talking about the importance of environment, but also creating a familiar context for yourself. So the example is nerd fitness. Nerd fitness, which I'm not too familiar with, but the basic premise, guys or people that, men and women, who associate with being nerds, right, into comic books and whatever, who also want to get into fitness. So by creating this community in this environment, what happens is people who come in who maybe fitness is intimidating to them, it's new, they're not as comfortable with it, well, they connect and they get the comfort from, okay, we're all kind of in this thing together, in that we relate to being like nerds. So we have something that's comfortable that helps us kind of stretch the comfort zone. So the challenge is where people go, I hate marketing, because they see it as this whole new ballpark, this whole new thing that they have to learn. Like I'm leaving the world of, let's say, storytelling and going into the world of marketing. Instead, it's I'm bringing the world of storytelling in, and now I'm just making some tweaks to adjust it for marketing. Or now I'm just adding a few extra pieces to the capacity I already have of storytelling or teaching or entertaining, or again, whatever it is that applies to you, right? So you bring it with you. It's not a new thing. It's a familiar thing, and this is important neurologically. Here's the principle to apply to anything, virtually anything, is you want to create enough familiarity that you're not totally going out of your comfort zone. That's shocking. You want to stretch your comfort zone, but not just completely break it. Otherwise, it's too stressful. You also don't want to stay totally in your comfort zone, or else you won't grow, right? It's like working a muscle. It's got to be challenging. But too much would injure you. Not enough wouldn't stimulate it. You got to find that right level of challenge. And you do that again. You bring in what you're familiar with, and you see how this new thing applies back to the other things that you're passionate about. Third piece. Appreciate the distinctions. Okay, so I'm saying it's the same thing. I'm like, teaching is selling and selling is teaching. It's called a complex equivalence. You're making like an equal sign between the two. And they're not exactly the same, as I'm sure you know. In fact, if you don't if you're not haven't fallen in love with marketing, then chances are it's because it does seem too different, unless you just enjoy different things and love the newness. So in this case, you do need to appreciate, okay, if I'm writing a book description, for instance, that's just writing. That's more of what I already do. If I'm writing a Facebook post, that's more writing. If I'm writing an email, that's more writing. If I'm sending out an invitation to something, that's more writing. You're already doing writing for most of this. It's not like you need to make sales call most of the time for selling books. It's not like you need to knock on people's doors and be like, hey, you want to buy this book? You don't have to become a door-to-door salesperson, okay? You're kind of staying in territory that you're already familiar with most of the time, which is writing, right? Maybe some networking if you want to do that. So the thing is, though, you go, how is this different now? After you see how it's the same. The sameness gives you comfort, and the distinctions are what stretch you and grow. And you go, how do I tweak this? Because writing a book description is different than writing a novel. And writing a book description in romance is different than, there's going to be some distinctions between writing a book description in romance versus a thriller novel. And there's a distinction between writing an educational book and marketing it and marketing a pop psychology self-help book, right? So you do appreciate the distinctions. And then the fourth thing is simply an invitation to watch your language, okay? This is where I hear people say, I hate marketing. If you say that, it becomes self-fulfilling, or it reinforces it, okay? And just, you can test for yourself, how does it feel to say, I hate marketing, versus I'm learning to love marketing? You don't have to say I love marketing if you don't yet, but could you believe that you're learning to love marketing? You're learning to appreciate marketing, or sales, or influence. I suck at it versus I haven't mastered it yet. I hate it versus I'm learning to love it. Say each of these out loud, or whatever else you want, and just ask yourself, does that language move me closer to my goal or not? Is this language empowering me or not? And be your own self-check. It's not up to me to tell you what that is. It's your life. Do what you want. That's an invitation to self-check and go, does this language move me closer to my goal? Okay. So that's the main four-part process. Of recap. You go, why do I love writing books? And you find how that's the same thing, a similar skill set as what marketing is. Okay. The second thing is you find how it crosses over to different contexts. How your skills in one area apply to marketing. How learning marketing is going to help you in these other areas. Right? I learned sales, and now I get to be better as a coach. Now I get to be better as a friend. Right? Now I get to help my mom work through something, right? So it helps in all these different things. Third thing, you appreciate the distinctions. What is unique about this? Fourth thing, you watch the language and find what's empowering and what could be disempowering, and see if there's something more empowering. One final little note, and that is I've given some practical advice, some very like 50,000 foot overview principles. One of the deeper things for some people that can be going on, certainly I went through it myself, and maybe it's just part of the journey, is that when you think about marketing, it's not just the skill set. It's not just the language. It's what does that really mean that you're going to be doing? Be putting yourself out there. It could be exposing yourself to the world, in a sense. And even if it's your book, what if you put a book out there and some people don't like it? It gets bad reviews. You're in the spotlight, right? So it's that spotlight effect. It's that putting yourself out there. What if people go, who do you think you are? Oh, you're trying to make all this money now? Oh, it's all about the money for you? You should just write for the love of it. Like, people are going to say that. Are you okay hearing that? Are you confident and assured enough in yourself to be willing to express yourself no matter what other people's opinions are? That might, that's something to reflect on. Certainly deeper work that I do with some coaching clients is working through that, some therapeutic processes. And when you apply what you learned in this video, simply taking some action steps and gradually stretching your comfort zone, putting yourself out there, that will get you more and more acclimated to it. And my one shift for that is to realize it's not about the people who don't want it. It's about the people who do. Keep your focus on those that you're serving. Keep your focus on the people who are dying for your next book, or dying for your first book, or dying for, they're craving what you have to offer. And focus on serving them. Because the flip side is you'd be robbing them. You'd be taking a gift away from them to please some people who might not ever be pleased anyway, right? So keep the focus on those that you serve. Hope you found this helpful. Love to hear your thoughts. Please share your comments about what your biggest takeaway is from this video. Take care.